Ready for school?
Here we are back again. Whew. I am so tired. Today we were in the classroom, and that is all it took for me to find rock bottom. Energy-wise. Not as far as like emotional and experience and all that stuff, man. Today was amazing. We had a lot of fun. The goal was to leave the house by like 7:35, and that did not happen, but that's okay. We went down and had breakfast, and then I think we left at like 7:45. Got to the school, kind of shook hands with some folks. The warden, principal met us. Chris was there. Chris is the guy, he's a Infant 1 teacher. And he helped us facilitate this whole scheduling of coming to the classrooms and doing all this stuff. So we had 3 classes that we were a part of today, and we were a part of each one for about an hour. So from 8:30 to 9:30 we were in the preschool with 3 and 4-year-olds, and then from 9:30 to 10:30 we were in standards 1, 2, and 3 combined, and then for the third hour from 10:30 to 11:30 we were in standards 4, 5, and 6. For the first hour with the preschoolers, we did like a paper chain. We had each kid decorate their strips and put their names on them, and then we put it all together at the end. So that went really well. And then just starting out with that class, you had said to us the night before that you were going to use your backpack as a prop.
Yep.
And do this whole thing where he's like one of the school kids, and I didn't know how big he was going to play it. And I was like just as excited as all the kids when it started, because
it was captivating.
You were like a different person. It was a completely different, I know acting is not your thing, but that was stellar performance. That was like,
it's fantastic.
Yeah, that was, I'll put a little clip of it in here, but go watch the full thing, because that was amazing.
I gotta come to school first. Good morning, teacher. Are you ready for school? You see my backpack?
Yes.
Me ready for school? I want to do it. I hope I bring my paper, my pencil, my crayon. I hope Mommy never forget my language and put in there.
That group, we definitely spent more time in like presentation mode and like morning meeting or whatever, elementary schools would call something like that. And so it was less them doing stuff and more them like listening to us. And that was a lot of fun. And they were a great audience.
Guess whose birthday it is today?
You.
Guess whose birthday it is today? It's Mr. Arias' birthday. It's not his birthday.
It's my birthday today!
It's his birthday today!
Super well-behaved kids. Nobody was talking over anybody. They all raised their hands. They all had good things to say and actual like guesses to contribute when they'd be asked questions and things like that. Really impressive for a group of 3 to 4-year-olds. So Dad did his little skit where he's like this little school kid coming to school. And then there was a kind of a special time because today is Dad's birthday.
Yep.
57.
57 years young.
Round of applause. And it was also Chris's birthday. Chris, again, is the gentleman that we got in contact with last year in that volleyball tournament video. You can watch that here. And it was his birthday too. So really kind of cool that we didn't even choose today to come to the school for that reason. It was just, that's what worked out the best. In the first class, Chris and him stood at the front of the class and the kids all sang happy birthday for them.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear kid. Happy birthday to you.
From there, we went immediately to standards 1, 2, and 3, which is the equivalent of second, third, fourth grade-ish. And those kids had a lot of energy, and you could tell because their teachers were a little bit more strict in the best way possible.
Yep.
That's how I would describe it. And they were I mean, honestly, for having, what was that one? 35 kids in one room.
Yep.
It went amazing. I mean, and not, I'm not like tooting our own horns, but the kids' ability to have self-control and be able to adapt. I mean, they're sitting on the floor,
Yep.
a linoleum concrete floor, and just listening to us for probably 20 minutes was the intro time on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And so for that class, we had these wooden propeller things that Johnny had the idea of weeks ago. You glue a stick into the propeller, and then you can, like almost like stoking a fire or whatever. You can go like this, and then
No fly.
they fly up or down if you're like me and forget to go the right direction. And so he gave him a little lesson, since Johnny's a Boeing engineer. You know, he gave him a little lesson on aerodynamics and thrust and lift, and he used much simpler terms, so that was really good. But the kids were really into it.
Boeing. Boing?
Boeing? It's okay.
Who's seen the airplanes fly over top? Yeah.
So Johnny's company
makes those.
He helps build them.
The big planes.
Do you think you guys could build an airplane?
You guys are smart enough to build an
Some
airplane.
mixed answers there. That's okay.
Who else has seen a helicopter? Have you guys ever wondered how those helicopters fly? I'm gonna teach you guys a little bit on how they fly.
And then once they found out they got to have their own propeller,
Oh, they were
the interest level went sky high. It was hilarious.
So I was explaining everything to them, kind of giving them a little lesson. And then at the very end, I had my propeller that I demonstrated for them, and they're like, "Oh wow, they thought that was super cool."
Yeah.
And then I grabbed the big bags of them, and they were like,
Oh,
"Thank
right.
Lord Jesus, we're gonna get one too."
Everybody will get one. Everybody will get one. Kalap on it, and then bring it back and put.
I'm sorry. You did your thing too. So you did an intro. Dad did an intro with every class where he talked about a scripture and just kind of some words of wisdom for the kids as like an introduction. And also he introduced us every time. So it was like, hey, this is who I am. I, grew up here just like you did. This is my son. This is my friend. This is my dad, because Grandpa was in every classroom with us. And so it gave the kids some good context before we just jump right into teaching something. So Johnny gave his little lesson on the actual science behind it, and we related it to a Bible verse. So for that one, it was Genesis 1:28, which is essentially, God gives you the earth for your benefit. Like he created all the parts of the earth for mankind. Then they actually got to make the propellers, so they all got to draw on them, write their name on it. They were told to write their name on it. They all had crayons. And again, this is all on the floor for half of them, I guess. At this point, half are on the floor and the other half are actually in their chairs. Because these are kids from multiple classrooms meeting in one classroom for our benefit.
Yeah.
So half of them are on the floor, half of them are at their desks. They're coloring. It's loud.
We had stickers,
But-
passing out stickers.
It was as civil as it could possibly be for a group of 7 to 9-year-olds going just berserk on these wooden propellers. So then they made lines to get stickers. They made lines for me to glue the propeller to the stick. And then we finished with that, and they're kind of playing with them in the classroom, and I told Dad, I was like, this is going to get a little crazy pretty fast. So I asked him if he would lead some group games, because they were, just kind of hanging out towards the front. So you played That Is Me.
That is me.
Which is where you say a statement, and then the kid replies, that is me, if it's applicable to them.
I have a skateboard. I like mango.
So they found that entertaining. And then once everything was built, and it was like, okay, what do we do next? We had a solid 15 minutes, probably. We said, hey, can we take a group picture? So we went outside, and then we took our group picture. So then we just said, can the kids just play with their toys out here? And they were fine with that. So They were like, okay, spread out first before you just go for it.
They were just whirling dervishes.
So it just broke into
With
complete chaos.
Organized chaos.
Yeah, it was. It was very organized.
You did it? You want to do it again? Oh! Yeah! Organized chaos, I'd say.
That's great. It's finally warm.
Ah!
35 kids, only one kid got hit in the eye.
Yeah. And he was, I don't know if he really got hit in the eye, but it was near his eye and he was crying about it. And the teacher was like, oh, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. She like looked at him and she's like, oh, you're fine, blah, blah, blah. So they did that for a while and then that class had ended and we were actually a couple minutes late to the next one. Standard 4, 5, 6 would translate to 6th, 7th, 8th.
So middle school.
So middle school. So we walk up to this classroom, which is like kind of in a different building. And it was just a different vibe, obviously. You walk in and it's not screaming, it's not yelling. They're all sitting there taking notes.
They're all organized.
Yes, and there's, you know, a lot of them crammed into this smaller classroom. So you have to have a lot more order for it to work. But yeah, that one was like, the vibe changed a lot because we went from just screaming, yelling outside for like 15 minutes to we walk in and you could hear a pin drop when we walked in the door. So again, Dad gave a intro for like 5 minutes. He kept that one shorter because Johnny and I knew we would be up against the clock for what we had planned for these guys.
He's not. Yeah, he's got my first name. That's my son Andrew. Hello. And that's our friend Johnny.
Hello.
Johnny is an engineer, and Andrew is a data analyst. He crunched the numbers. He likes the spreadsheets. If you guys know what the spreadsheets are, if you guys ever done spreadsheets, you will one of these days use a spreadsheet. Believe me.
And then right from there, we jumped into doing the cliche egg drop challenge. Johnny made it into a fun story plot.
Yeah.
Today there's a problem that needs your guys' help being solved. So there is a farmer Voldemaro, and he has a problem with chickens going on top of his barn and laying eggs on top of his barn. So he can get up on top of the barn, but he is having a hard time getting the eggs down safely, so he needs your guys' help to figure out how to safely drop an egg from the second story to the ground floor without it breaking.
So we grouped the kids up.
Yeah, there were 6 teams of 5 and 1 team of 6. And once they understood the challenge, man, they just
were
went
like
ham.
focused.
It was crazy.
They were focused.
And it was perfect. Like the older kids definitely were like, this is what we're doing. I have this idea, but ideas were flying left and right. New developments were made.
Just hold your finger like this. Yeah, boss, it's a delicate finger. No, just put your finger in now. When you roll it,
Do you want the egg now or later?
Later.
Okay.
No. Yes, but it drop right now. Later.
Okay. So how are you going to attach the balloons to the cup?
That's figure out.
Okay. How's it going? You guys okay? What's your plan? Okay.
yeah, blow up and then when you drop it, the balloon will prevent it from
Oh, okay. So then what? Okay.
How much straw do I want? No, we got a lot of straw, so don't worry about the straw. No, are you straw?
What are you guys thinking? What's your guys' idea?
No, guys. Okay, same group.
It seemed like every single kid, for the most part, was just like tuned in and helping.
And there was no arguing.
No.
There was no like, no, that's a dumb idea. We shouldn't do that or this or that. It
They were
was
just
all
having
constructive.
fun.
It was like, you have a good idea? Sure. Throw it onto the build.
Yeah, it literally was like let's start with a cup filled with cotton balls and then tape it together.
With a roll of tape.
Most of their designs involve just covering the egg with tape. But it started off with a cup with the cotton balls, and then like, oh, let's add a bunch of balloons to it. It's like, oh, let's add a parachute to it. So it was like they couldn't necessarily nail down one specific idea, and they're like, let's just throw everything at it, and it was perfect.
So they had probably 30 minutes total. This was like meant to be because this is the one classroom on campus where there's just an emergency exit. Building code or whoever would not be cool with this. There's a door that just goes onto the roof, and so then the kids ran down to the courtyard, and then Johnny ran down to the courtyard, and then we filmed both dropping it and then them watching it fall on the ground.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Whose is this?
Raise your hand.
Raise your hand.
Chicky.
Chicky? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Go see if the egg broke. Mr. Safe.
Mr. Safe. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh.
All right.
3. There was no way that broke. No way. That one was way too good.
To our utter shock. I mean, not utter shock at the moment, because once we saw the builds, we were like, okay, these are going to work. But beforehand, we're thinking, I mean, even yesterday, we built one ourselves and we screwed up the first one.
We broke it.
We're never going to tell the kids that, but we screwed it up. So, yeah. We dropped them one at a time. All 5, and all 5 survived.
100%.
Or all 6 survived.
100% success rate.
Yeah, and
That was great.
so then we kind of was like, fantastic job, everyone, great work. And then
And I mean, at that point, we didn't have a ton of extra time. It was just I think maybe we had 10 more minutes. So we broke out the egg drop device that
we secretly failed with
that
the
we
first
made.
time, but we reinforced it.
Yes, and we put the egg in it, and we chucked it off the roof 5 or 6 times,
Threw it up in the air.
and it kept protecting the egg.
So it never broke.
They thought that was pretty cool.
And Johnny even put it in the basketball hoop one time.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
So once that was done, we took a group picture with them, and then that was pretty much it. We went back to the classroom, cleaned up, because that classroom was a mess after that
It was
whole
like
thing.
a
It looked like a
freaking
bomb went off.
Tornado.
We pretty much left. So came home and freshened up. We walked to the bakery, got ourselves some pastries. I basically ate a bag of bread. I think they had like a
ham and cheese.
They had a ham and cheese
jalapeno
thing. Then we went to Help Age for the 3rd time now. And this time we were doing games out by the bay. And they did these activities where it was like physical exercise for people their age, which is great. They had like running races. Then they had like jump rope and tightrope, and then they had like one where you had to hide this. You shuffle this safety pin over a rope, and then it's like somebody's like, "Oh, keep going," and then they say stop, and then they open their eyes and they have to guess who's hiding the pin.
Go. Okay, stop. You look way too guilty. Yes! His hands are together. He panicked and he grabbed it, didn't he?
So then we helped them clean up, did the thing, cleaned up all the chairs, and then we walked back home. And I took a nap. I was done.
We just chilled.
We went to dinner downstairs. Grandma made a nice dinner for Dad's birthday. Rice and beans, meatballs, vegetables.
I've had a lot of really good food here. Don't get me wrong, that dinner is probably one of the
Best ones.
Best meals. It
Johnny
was good.
covered 2 plates.
This is a good mix.
I went back 3 times.
Oh my.
No, I don't really. I don't even think about it. I'm built a little differently, I guess, because I have had people come up to me and say, "How do you do it, sir? How do you do it?" I don't even think about it.
Yeah, then we just played a little crossword until we discovered, like, we still have things to do. We should go upstairs and finish our day out.
Get going, yep.
So we left. I'll start with you. Anything to add?
Yeah, one thing. So when we were, this was probably the highlight for me from the school, but it was all fun. When we were outside going berserk with the propellers, all the kids are just running around, it's chaos, and I'm filming. This one little girl named Gloria, she comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, Mr. John," she asked me, she's like, "Hey, is it true that if I work really hard, I can be anything, that I can do anything that I want to do?" And I'm like, yes. There's just like, I was so, I don't want to say taken aback by the question, but I was just like, there was no hesitation. It was just like a split second, like, yes, absolutely. If just with some hard work, you can accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. And then she goes, kind of continues about, oh, I would want to be a lawyer. Do you think that I can be a lawyer? And I'm like, yes, I definitely think that you can be a lawyer.
You can be a lawyer. You want to be a lawyer? I know that you can be a lawyer.
So it was a very nice moment for me and speak a blatant truth that is, with hard work, you can accomplish whatever it is you want to accomplish. So that was really special.
What about you, birthday boy?
To me, the Holy Spirit is moving, and that we will never know what will happen out of some of the things that we said and some of the things that these kids got out of those conversations and those prayers that we prayed for them. So I thought it was great. I thought the teachers were great and the principal was great, and they were all very appreciative, and not because we were special, just because God made way for us to have a good time with these kids, and it turned out the best that it could turn out. So we're looking forward for tomorrow, and I think it'll be great.
Was it a good birthday though?
It was a good birthday. Got birthday wishes from everybody. So yeah, it was a good birthday.
Good. Well, tomorrow we're back at it at school. We are helping out with the church service. So we've prepped for that. We have that already. The kids are going to get more special surprises and treats tomorrow. So we're looking forward to that. It's probably going to be another early morning. So we're going to stop here and go to bed. So good night. God bless. See you tomorrow. Gotta look lively for this one.
Is that what you did?
Yeah, do it for me. So it'd be like, I have grandparents, or well, that's kind of dark. Or Farmer Fulgencio, or whatever his name is.
Behave now.
Well, who? Say it with confidence.
Oh, Voldemaro.
Voldemaro. So he pulled the wrong name first.
Voldemaro. Farmer Voldemaro.
Nice. The guy that was running had put the chairs in the sunniest spot in the park. And they're metal freaking chairs.
And they're sitting there for a solid 20 minutes before people start coming.
And then this other bigger lady comes over and she's like, I don't want to sit in the hot chairs. She's telling Grandma, and Grandma's like, yeah. And she's like, yeah, maybe it'll melt your fat.
What did she say?
She said, maybe it'll melt your fat. And I was like, my jaw dropped a little bit. And I look over at Johnny, and I don't think Johnny quite heard it the first time. So then I tell him, and he's like, so he starts laughing, and then Grandma does her little snicker, and she's like, yeah, she didn't hear me though. Bye.